How about when I made the movie down in Nashville and got to stand on the original Grand Ole Opry stage while the Grand Ole Opry was going on, having grown up listening to the Grand Ole Opry on the radio on Saturday night when I was a kid? Would that be?
That would be wonderful.
Would it be?
Yeah. You're a country western fan.
Oh, I grew up with, that's what our people did. My folks would go out on Saturday night to the Vets Club and dance to the that kind of music, but we weren't old enough to do that yet. So we listened, my cousins and I would listen to the Grand Ole Opry on that old, the old Philco radio, or whatever. And so then I grow up and, I end up in Hollywood, and I'm managed by a wonderful man named Bob Marcucci, who discovered Fabian and Frankie Avalon and me. I was the first girl, I think, that Bob ever represented, and I knew who he was, and he was really somebody in his day. And we were great friends. So anyway, Bob got me up for a role in a movie. It was just a terrible movie, and I wasn't all that swift in it, trust me. A friend of mine, I got him to see it years later, and he said, "I like your hair." But anyway, I got to play a country music singer, and I got to go to Nashville for 3 weeks, and it was heaven, 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 heaven. So, and in the movie was Cousin Minnie Pearl. She had a role, and Merle Travis. Not Merle Haggard, but Merle Travis. And the guy who did the announcing for the Grand Ole Opry all those years, Ernie somebody, was in it. So, there was a girl in the movie, she was my rival, her name was Dolores Faith, an absolute Elizabeth Taylor knockout, violet eyes, dark hair. And she just didn't get what the big deal was to stand on the stage of the Grand Ole Opry, the original stage, because they hadn't opened up the new place yet, and watch from backstage everything I had grown up on. And to see backstage how those dandies would, their cowboy boots, then some of them had them cut off, at the ankle. They had costumes that were just fantastic. Unbelievable experience for me. And right next door was Tootsie's Lounge, and we went there. And I also met a guy he picked me up at the airport. He worked for he was a lawyer, and he worked for the local government. And his name was Ralph Waldo Emerson, and he was a descendant of Ralph Waldo Emerson. And he made a point, we had a long affair, by the way, while I was there, and he made a point of having Frank Clements, who was then the governor, make me an honorary citizen of Tennessee. The state of Tennessee, hereby known that the Honorable Sharon DeBord, in recognition, and there I was. So it was June 17th, 1966. Lucas was born on June 17th, 1973, and I just realized that. So I had the key to the city, and Ralph knew everybody in town, and he also knew Eddie Arnold. He was good friends of Eddie Arnold. Now I grew up, Eddie Arnold. Good Lord, who'd never heard of Eddie Arnold? Anyway, we went out on Eddie's boat with he and his wife. A huge boat. And he sang to me. Ralph said, "Oh, sing Cattle Call for Sharon." And so I had a private singing of Eddie Arnold's Cattle Call. So that was an extraordinary experience for me, too. And of course, Cousin Minnie Pearl was one of the most intelligent women. I can't even think what her real name was, but she just, bright as a penny. And I loved Nashville. God, it was a wonderful city. So I think that's about it. You know, that's sort of like a private thing that maybe nobody else would get, but
Mm.
it sure made a difference in my life.